Managing Director of State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, has promised to turn around the fortunes of indebted state enterprises to profit-making entities by raking in some $1.2 billion cedis by the end of December 2020. He also warned CEOs of state-owned entities who misconduct themselves in office will either be sacked or prosecuted to serve as a deterrent to others. This, he says, will be realized through vigorous monitoring. Mr. Asamoah Boateng, who has been speaking with my colleague Latif Idris, says the signing of the performance contract, which came off Wednesday, will now make it easier to hold CEOs accountable.
The president has committed himself to the people of Ghana that he will turn around the economy. And to turn around the economy, you need the businesses of the state to lead the way. And that's what has brought out the change. It's not been easy. As I said, it's a roller coaster because they were comfortable. They were posting losses. But now I can project revenue, dividends. I can project our 2.2 billion, 1.2 billion coming up.
How soon should we expect this change?
Well, over the period, we've been working on some of the entities that can easily turn around their businesses. There are what I call the low-hanging fruits that can easily be brought to bear on the economy if we pay attention. And so we've put in some efforts there, and they are now projecting some revenue. Some people call dividend, but for me, if you wait till dividend, then the question of whether they declare losses or profit, I won't wait to that level. I will make sure some of them, they can pay something upfront because they have money to do other things, corporate social responsibility, other things. So why can't you give something to the shareholder, to the people of Ghana? I know that the corporate social responsibility also go to the people of Ghana, but some of them, bring it to the shareholder, let the government decide.
On your crystal ball, what projection can you give to the Ghanaian people in the, say, by end of 2020? What should we expect coming out from state interest and governance?
Well, as I said, we have projected about 1.2 billion, which never came. I mean, you remember, they post losses. Nobody brought anything. Rather, they come for government to bail them out. Right now, we are looking at this amount. Hopefully, I should be keeping an eye and getting them to deliver. It's the job of SIGA for us to unblock all the bottlenecks so that they can achieve it. So by the end of the last quarter of the year, hopefully we should be able to post something before the budget is ready.
But for now, you are looking at 1.2 billion Ghana cedis or dollars?
No, dollars. No. You guys are used to dollars, I'm not. I'm used to Ghana cedis. But if it's dollars, I'll be happy, but it's in dollars. It's in cedis, sorry.
How crucial is the success of SIGA to the attainment or realization of the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda?
Very, very crucial. As I said, Ghana Beyond Aid simply put is a situation or a level where we all reach that we can look after ourselves. We can say, like, if you want to build a road here, we have the resources not to go and borrow money. Yeah, you can borrow, but within what context? But you have the resources to look after your education, your health system, and things that you can do without necessarily going cup in hand. And if you say how significant we can contribute, it is important. These are state institutions that have to deliver. If you have Cocoa Board, which is buying and selling of your products, cocoa, and it's not getting the revenue in because if you look at the chain, the chain of production to the manufacturing of chocolate and all that, it's a loop-sided where the real margins, the big margins of profit are with the chocolate manufacturers, not with the producers of cocoa. So we need to get something. That's why the president has gotten our counterparts or our next door neighbor, Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, to be working with us so that we can go to the market as a unit, as a group, and we can have a weight or influence. So that's one aspect. And then Cocoa Board will take the lead from that end. You look at other areas where we're trying to produce as much as we can or add value within Ghana rather than take the raw beans out. It's also part of it. And it's all being done by a state entity, Cocoa Board. If you're talking about exploration of our oil reserves and all that, GNPC is leading the charge. So we need to get GNPC to be doing the right negotiations with the international oil companies so that we have the revenue coming in. So that's the job of SIGA. So if the state entities can lead and make sure that they are getting value for money and they're getting resource that brings in the revenue, then Ghana beyond it it's achievable, and it can be achieved very quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah, so yesterday we witnessed the signing ceremony at the Labadi Beach Hotel. But what was missing for us as media practitioners has to do with the fact that we didn't get to see what document these CEOs appended their signatures to. Can you briefly tell us what exactly is in this contract that was signed yesterday?
It's not a hidden document. It's a contract that we've negotiated with them on some key performance indicators. One of them is on their financials. So their revenue, their profit, their ratios are all being assessed and looked at. We're looking at the management improvement systems. So what have they put in place that it can propel the management to deliver? And also we looked at the whole architecture of the governance system, how the board is also directing strategically the businesses to deliver and avoid the unfortunate incident of wranglings and all that. There are some KPIs that we put in place and put figures on them. And those percentages we negotiate with them for key areas where they themselves decide that, yes, we can achieve this on financials. This we can do that in management improvement. This one we can do it on corporate governance side. Then we look at the organization from SIGA, how they have improved over the years. Then we can tell them that, look, if you give 30% to financial, you cannot perform that because over the years you'll be performing 10%. How do you jump to 30%? Explain the 20 for us. Then they have to justify. If it doesn't sound right, then we negotiate with them. So, look, you can go as far as maybe 15 or 18%. These are the kind of negotiation we do before we reach that.
Yesterday I listened to your speech and you said those who fail to meet targets and deadlines, there are punitive actions, there are sanctions. What are the sanctions that you talked about yesterday?
I'm not saying something different because you see, you cannot set targets on your own. SIGA cannot sit here and tell Cocoa Board or GMPC or Tamale Refinery or GPHA how they should run their. I'm not the MD there, but they would have to come to negotiate and say, from our operation, from our financials, this is how far we can go. But we also have their documents. We have their financials. We have their management account. So we also interpret it and say, well, I think you are playing down your capacity to improve. So stretch yourself a bit higher and go beyond maybe 25 to 30%. And some of them will come in and say, oh, we can do 45. And you look at them and say, you've never done it before, over the past 4 or 5 years or 3 years. So how are you going to achieve that? And we say, lower your target. So that we all agree on the target. That's where we hold them to it. Because that's something we've agreed with you. And you are comfortable. If you're not comfortable, then you let us know. Then we would manage it. As we go along and we monitor, you can also veer from the target. Depends on how your performance is coming along. We can easily know that, look, you cannot hit it because your first quarter didn't bring in anything. So really, if you project the second quarter, forget about your 40% you said. It will be probably about 25%. So that's why the monitoring and evaluation is key. And so if you don't hit it, and we notice that it is out of maybe boardroom wrangling, it's because you haven't hired the right personnel to do the job, or you have not trained them properly. Then you yourself has not committed resources to achieve the target. That's when the punitive actions come in.
And what is it?
Well, it ranges from all sorts of things. Some of them, if it's not a very major deviation or missing of the targets, it's maybe bonuses that they normally will give themselves. We refuse to approve it because we have to approve before the management and the board would give bonuses. If it goes to a point where the management is not really up to the task and we think they are failing, we recommend to the appointing authority to look at the removal of such management team or even the board resolution or reconstitution. It even goes to some extent if it comes through that something has been done which shouldn't have been done. Maybe you committed the organization to some expenditure levels that you didn't seek clarification with finance or SIGA, and we find out you might be in trouble, and trouble may end up in court. Because if you go criminal, then there's nothing I can do. We would make sure you go there. But sometimes just you could see that they did and make genuine mistake, but then it means that their competencies are questionable. Then it's a question of removal rather than a prosecution. Are you with me? So it depends on what they do and the sanctions you apply.